Good afternoon and welcome to an IMG Sports Technology Group webinar on behalf of Baseball Australia. Today we'll be covering setting up a competition on our SportsDesq platform. I'll go through and touch on some of the key features in setting up a competition through general competition setup, generating fixtures, entering players and results, and finally generating a final series. To begin with, I will touch on fixture templates. So on the left-hand side, fixture templates. This gives you the ability to create a number of different templates that you may use in the different types of competitions in your association. You have the ability to upload a template if you have something that you've used in previous seasons. And you have an option here to either download a template that can then be imported into our system, and we also have a sample that is available to. If I click on that link there, it will open up a Excel document. As you can see here, essentially it's just listing the rounds, the match. So in this case, there's two matches in round one, and then the seeded number of the teams. So in this case, the team 2 is playing team 1 and team 3 is playing team 4. You can see we've got some examples of a 4-team, 6-team, 8 and 10-team competition, so you can use those as you wish and they can easily be changed in terms of changing the numbers around. Once you're happy with that, you can then upload the template in this section here, and once completed you'll see a template listed on this page here. I'll then go into venues. So as you can see, I've already set up some existing venues. This gives you the ability to add in essentially any venue that you'll be using across your competitions. And essentially the benefit of using venues is that you can assign a team to more than one ground that they may be using during the season. And essentially from this page here, once I've added a venue, so first I can click on add. I enter the details, so I can put in the address information of the venue. You can also select the number of fields at that facility, so you may have 2, 3, 4 different fields available at one venue, so you can nominate how many there are. You can give it a title, and in this case we'll nominate sport as baseball. Once that's been set up, you can then go through and nominate the times. So on this page, we would nominate the game times across each of the fields. So in this case, there are 2 fields. So essentially any times that games will be played and the days that they will be played on. So if we had a game played on a Friday night, we'll select the day, select the time, and we can just click add. You can now see that that's been added to both fields. You also have the option to select an individual field from the list there. If I return to the venues page, once you've added in all your venues and the times at each relevant venue, you have the fixture grid function. So I'll click on this button, and this will give you a list of all venues that you've set up, and you'll be able to see the available times at each of those venues. If I click on the Saturday, you can see that we've got a number of times available across each of the venues, and you can see that we've got an existing fixture already scheduled for the Saturday at Ballarat. On the left hand side you can see that we've got some fixtures that haven't been allocated. So in this case a competition's been created but a game time couldn't be found. If I need to move or change these fixtures, I can just simply click and drag and find an available time. And once that's been added, that will update automatically. The next one I'll touch on is seasons. So in this case I've just set up a winter 2014 season and a summer 2014-15 season. Essentially you can nominate the start and end date of each season that you'll be hosting in your association. For my summer season, I've nominated the dates as I have there. You have the option to include exception dates. So this might be things for like public holidays, any days where games cannot be played. So if I nominate for Christmas, and that's now been added. So that essentially means that no games will be played over those 2 days. I'll now go into actually curating a competition. So from this page here, I can click on Add. I'll then nominate the season. The competition type I'll set to standard. We'll include clubs, so this will be clubs that are linked to your association. And the last option there, member desk integration, is to enable you to select players from those clubs. You also have the option to include divisions. So this would be if you have different grades, whether it be first, seconds, thirds, fourths, or A, B, C grades. And depending on the number of competitions that you have, there's another option you can select. On the next page, I'll nominate my competition name. You can select the gender and age level, and I'll nominate final series. And mobile is a mobile compatible version that we have, so you can access it on your phone or at any time. I'll then go into the fixture tab. This is where I'll nominate how many teams will be playing in my competition, and then the number of rounds in that competition. The bottom half of this section, I'll then nominate what days games will be played. So in this case, my competition will just be played on over Saturday and Sunday, and I'll nominate the time to be a 9 AM start as a default. So when generating fixtures, it means that the games will be defaulted to 9 AM or the nearest possible time. The next page is already been set, so these are just the points that a team will receive if they win a game, if they draw, for a forfeit, so any of the default scoring settings. So these can be changed if required. The next section relates to setting cut-off dates. So if you were to give the ability to your clubs to enter players and results, you can set cut-off times for when that needs to be entered. The ranking page, this is determining how teams will be ranked on the ladder. So at the moment, in this left-hand side, you can see that teams will be ranked on points, games won, and score for and score difference. If you need to include some additional rankings, you can do that just simply by clicking and dragging. So I can include played, I might include the winning percentage. And you also have the option to include a head-to-head tiebreaker. So again, I can just click and drag. The last tab is relating to the ladder. So I can give my ladder a name. You have some preferences. So just determining whether a buy will display as a games won is currently set to yes. So obviously you can change that back if required. And a number of other settings are there. So it may include washouts and games played. The layout options just refers to how a ladder will display, and you have two different layouts being basic and detail, so just what will be included in each layer. And then the lines is how you'd like to split your competition up, so I'll nominate the top 4 teams and the bottom team to be divided. Once I'm happy with that, I can save that information, and I've now created my competition. What you'll see is there's a number of settings on the top of the page. These will be already included as default settings. So things like scoring, you can see have been set as runs. It has some match statistics, so this gives you the ability to include any team statistics that you'd like to record. This might be something that you would do for some grades and not for others, and you can essentially add as many or as little statistics as you need. And you also have the ability to enter player statistics. So this is for individuals, so you can include individual statistics on players that have been entered for competition. What I'll go into next is the club section. So this is where you'll select the clubs from your association that will be playing in this competition. So I'll click on Add Organisations, and you can see I have a list of clubs that will be playing in my association. For this competition, I only have 8 clubs participating, so I can just simply include those clubs. Once that's completed, you'll see that I now have a list of clubs. On this page as well, we'll have a column for seeding and for the venue. Firstly, what I'll do is, if I edit Bayes Baseball, I can include a contact if relevant, and that would be the person from that club that can then go online to enter player statistics and results. And then for the venues, you're nominating the home venue for this club. So as you can see, you can nominate more than one venue. If there happens to be a ground unavailable at Blackburn, it will then look for an available time at Carrum Downs. So for each of your clubs, I'd recommend adding that home venue. So that would mean when we're generating fixtures, it's going to assign a game or a fixture to that ground automatically. So we'd go through the list and complete that there. The next thing you can do is nominate your seeded teams. So by clicking on seeding, we're essentially nominating the top ranked team down to the bottom ranked team. So again, by clicking and dragging, I can nominate those teams as required. And this will relate to when using a fixture template. This will be how the teams will match up there. So once that's completed, you'll see now that all my teams have now been seeded. And I'll go into now the teams. So the individual teams who play in the competition. So I'm just going to nominate all clubs. And you can see I've now got my 8 clubs listed. You can see that the seeding as well as the venues has come across. For those remaining teams, I might go in and nominate those home grounds as well. Obviously the benefit in doing it at the club level is that this information will come down automatically. I also need to just activate each of those teams, allowing them to be selected in this competition as well. Once I'm happy with my list and I have all my teams, I'll then go down to rounds, and I'll now have the option to generate a fixture. You also have the option to include exception dates. These exception dates will only apply to this competition, which is Division 1, whereas previously the exception dates will apply to the whole season. So typically public holidays and Christmas, for example, would be done at the season level. An exception date for this division might be done, which is only specific to this division. Once I click on Generate Fixtures, I'll nominate my start date. And then the next options is to generate the rounds. So this is a 14-round competition. I'll have the option here to split how I generate those rounds. So typically for grading, I might only want to generate the fixtures for the first three games. I'll nominate the earliest start time, which was 9 AM. and I might set the late start time to 1 p.m. I'll then select a match type, which has already been created for you, and I'll then select my fixture template. At the bottom here, we'll just nominate this as 2 sections. I can touch on this later in the webinar, and I'll generate fixtures. So as you can see, I've now generated my first 3 rounds. So this might be what would be for typically a grading session at the beginning of a competition. So if there are changes from teams moving up and down divisions, you would essentially make those changes in the clubs and teams. Once that's been updated, you could then go back into your competition to generate the remaining rounds. So again, I would select my start date. I'll select my rounds from now being 4 to 14. Nominate my start times. Again, select the same template, and I'll generate fixtures. So you now see I've generated the full season now. So after the gradings and any team changes have been made, I've now completed my full fixtures for that season. On this page, you have a couple of settings that we can go through. The key ones are relating to the results entry, fixtures and results. So what essentially you can do here is to publish fixtures. I can publish all fixtures, or I can publish an individual fixture. This means that these fixtures will now then be public online, so be visible to your players and teams to see. So I have the option to publish the first 2 rounds, and in addition I may want to publish the results as well. The other option is that I can simply publish all fixtures. You can see now that the status has been changed to a green globe. If any case I need to change that back, so I need to make changes, I can simply click the edit function, and that will revert those fixtures back. I'll then go into fixtures. So on the fixtures page, you can see I have a full list of all my games for the coming season. At the top of the page, you have some filters, so it gives you the ability to filter on a particular club, look at a specific round, and then also look at the team itself and a venue. If I view a fixture, you'll see the information around the game time and where it's been played. And what you can also do from this page is assign players. So what I might do now is, for Bays Baseball, I can also nominate players by clicking on the shortcut icon on this page. And they'll take me through to their player listing. So these are members who have signed up to Bays Baseball that I can now select for this upcoming match. So essentially I'll go through my list and nominate any players are playing in this game. Once I'm happy with that list, I can click Save. And these players have now been added for this fixture. If you ever need to make changes to an individual fixture, I can click on the Edit button, and that will give me the ability to change any of the options listed, so whether it's the team, the date of the game, and then the venue and time. If there's another game time available, I can then select it from here. I'll then go down to results. So on the results page, If I click on the edit record, I'll now have the option to enter the results for this game. So I can enter those scores there. If I did have a game that went into overtime, you can simply enter the innings followed by a comma. And you'll see in that bar column that will populate the total runs automatically. And then for the following team as well. If you have a game that doesn't go into the 9th innings, simply by leaving it blank, we'll save those results as of the innings. So if this was finished at 7 innings, you can simply leave it as the scores are listed there. You have the option to include any bonus points or adjustments as required. And again, you can make any changes necessary to the game time. Any match statistics that have been included, you can be entered as well. So as you can see, I've now entered the results for this game. If I return to the results page, you'll see that listed there. I'll now go into generating a final series. So on the left hand side you can see I have a tab there for finals. When generating finals, we have some pre-existing templates which can be used, or you can create your own. If I click on Design New System, as you can see, it'll give me a list of options in generating how many teams will be playing off in the different rounds of the finals. And you also have a best of series, so whether there's a best of 3, 5 and 7, you can include those as well. As is an 8-team competition, I might just do a simple 4-team, which may include a best of 3 series, and then for the grand final I'll do a best of 3 series as well. On the next page, you can simply just click and drag, nominating the teams that we'll be playing off in those finals. And then from that first round, he'll be playing off in the second round. Once I click next, I can then just nominate a title. So this series finals template can be used for any number of competition. Once that's been created, I can click on Generate Finals. It's going to ask for the first date of the final series. So I might go to February. I'll nominate the start time, select my match type, and I'm then going to select my final system. Once I click on Generate Finals, you'll see the series listed at the bottom of the rounds page. And if I also look in the fixtures section, you can also see the games being listed there. So once the regular competition has finished, those teams ranked in the top 4 positions will then be populated into the first round of finals. The next section is relating to the online component of the competition management system. So once I've created my competition, I'll switch it online on this first page. And by clicking on the form button here, it will take you through the public view. So as you can see, I now have Division 1 listed on this page, and you'll have a list of any competitions that you've created listed on this page here. You have some shortcuts through to the fixtures results, and there are a ladder and statistics as well. And you also have a filter on this page, so we can filter on the different seasons that have been set up. And as you can see there, once I click on Division 1, this will take me through to show the fixtures on this first page. As you can see, only round 1's been published, so that's the only one that's visible to the public. If I go into results, so you can see round 1 and 2 are published, but so far no results have been entered. You also see the ladder, so the ladder will update automatically and will give you a week by week comparison on what the standings of each of the teams. As the season statistics are entered, you'll be able to look at any team stats and player stats that have been entered, and they'll be across any of the teams. For any further information around the online component, this includes the ability for club administrators to log in and enter results and player statistics. We have some comprehensive information on our online help page. This can be found on this page here, and this is broken up into different areas of the SportsDesq platform. So you have some information around the team administrator setup. This information will be available to you, and we'll provide some links to these pages. For any other further support, our support team is available. To contact them, you can email us at support@imgsdg.com. Otherwise, you can submit an inquiry through our help page. This will allow you to ask any questions or queries that you may have, and one of our team will be able to get back to you. You also see on our console, you have the support tab on the right hand side of the page. By clicking on that, this links to our help page, so you can ask a question about anything you may need more help on. And that will link through to a relevant article. That's all I had to cover for today's session. Appreciate your time for today, and as I said, we're here to help, so please feel free to contact us.